Yo, what's up, beautiful people? This your boy Dwayne Matthews coming at you live and direct with another episode of Country Rap Tunes and Critical Race Theory. You hear me? So look at here. I took a trip down to Houston, Texas a couple months ago to go check out the Slowed and Throwed Museum exhibit, Records of the City Through a Mutated Lens out in Houston, Texas at the Contemporary Arts Museum, Houston. You hear me? All I want to do is go out there and pay my respects to that boy they call Robert Davis, or you may know him as DJ Screw. You see him with that fire-ass haircut right there. DJ Screw's sound was super unique, especially for the South. Most songs were made with high up tempo and that 808 bass. But DJ Screw came in and changed shit up. DJ Screw took the music, chopped it up, slowed it down, and rewind that shit back. This man was an architect for H-Town legends such as Lil Keke, Fat Pat, Big Mo, Lil Flip, you name it. The museum exhibit shows the impact Screw had on Houston and the community he created that provided an outlet to the voices that let them talk about their ills and joys of their Houston hoods like Cloverland, Sunnyside, 3rd Ward, and the 5th Ward. The museum exhibit combined the legacy of Screw and incorporated with mixed media art installations, so you had a chance to shine light on other creators that wanted to pay respect to the Third Coast as well. Now, y'all know it wasn't enough for me just to go to the museum exhibit. I had to take a pilgrimage to the actual Screwed Up Records and Tapes, where Screw's cousin Big Bub actually runs it today. The place was cold. Y'all take a look in the inside while I talk about some real shit for a second. Although Texas is home of the Screwed and Chopped, it's also home to the last place to abolish slavery. The Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves in 1863, but them white Texas Southern, they wasn't hearing that shit. So they said, we're going to ride this thing out for a little while longer. That's 2.5 years longer to be specific. So June 19th, 1865 is when the Texas slaves were able to receive their freedom, being the last slaves in America to receive their freedom. We currently call this day Juneteenth, which was just made a federal holiday in 2021 by current President Joe Biden. Now, Texas does like their stuff slow. They like their drinks with purple potion. They like their meat cooked low and slow until their meat fall off the bone. You hear me? Hell, Kanye West even had a song called Drive Slow with Texas legend himself, Paul Wall, baby. But Texas need to be ashamed of themselves for releasing the slaves as slow as they did. And since I'm on the topic of shame in Texas, government officials are trying to keep critical race theory out of the classroom with legislation. Can you believe that? And that's because they're trying to regulate how race and racism is being taught in the classroom. I suppose elected officials are scared that students will learn about the Americans' attitudes towards indigenous people, the Chicano movement, Black Power movement, and the stronghold of white supremacy. But he's even trying to prevent schools and businesses to enforce mask mandates during the damn pandemic. I know good and damn well they can't crack the code to race relations if they can't decide whether they want their kids to be safe or not be safe inside a classroom. But anywho, back to DJ Screw. The influence Screw had on Houston and the country at large is an understatement. Screw's music impacted Beyonce's body of work, A$AP Rocky, Travis Scott, and so on and so forth. But perhaps the most notable is that of George Floyd, or Big Floyd as he was known in the 3rd Ward. He used to be a member of the legendary Screwed Up clique. It's only right that I acknowledge the cultural symbol that Big Floyd has become and how his death at the hands of the police state set a generation on fire. It's no surprise that Big Floyd gravitated towards Screw music and he wanted to be a part of it as a way to share his truth of growing up in the 3rd Ward. To that brother we say, rest in peace. Now, DJ Screw also passed away in the year 2000 from a lean overdose to be specific. Although he's been gone for the last 21 years, that Slowed and Throw sound is still rattling trunks and being celebrated in a heavy way. It's kind of hard to believe that he died at just 29 years old because his music has helped raise a couple of generations and counting. But it also don't come as a surprise because as Pimp C told us, the trio don't die. This episode of Country Rap Tunes and Critical Race Theory, I want to thank y'all for riding out with me. As a way to celebrate this particular episode in DJ Screw, I want y'all to go out there and bang some old Screw music, play some UGK, play some Fat Pat, play some Big Hawk, play some Lil Keke, play some Lil Flip. I want y'all to play anything that's coming out of H-Town, all right? Play anything that's coming out of Houston, Port Arthur. Hell, even play your Dallas relatives too. On top of that, I want to thank y'all for riding out with me. Keep it pimping. I'll holler at y'all later. Be easy.